Hello friends, welcome back to this week's episode where I'm very pleased to announce that we do officially have a bingo. What I am wearing right now is the Stripe Hype by Veronica Lindbergh, but I didn't finish that this week. I finished that, I think, week 1. You can find that video up in the doobly-doo. This week, we kind of hunkered down and hyper-focused on one project, and that was, weirdly enough, the big blanket. So this is our first and only finished object this week. It is a giant blanket. It is made using this Lion brand Cover Story, which is 2.2 pounds or 1 kilogram. It uses 3 skeins, so it is a 6.6 pound blanket. So very much in the weighted blanket category. As you can see, it is corner to corner. I just took the first, once again, giant cake of yarn, started at a corner and kept going until I felt like I was about to run out of yarn. Then I switched skeins and went one side increasing, one side decreasing to keep it straight. And then once I thought that that cake was about to end, I started decreasing at both ends again, and that gave us this shape. This, I think, calls for 8mm needles. I used 10mm needles just because that was the only needles that I could find that, like, I did not hate working with this yarn through. I just thought that the 8mm made the loops way too tight for the texture of this yarn. Now, if you have been with me a while, you will know that I have a tendency to make blankets a little bit too small to fit over like a queen size bed, and they're usually like topper blankets. This is an overcorrection. As you can see, it goes down both sides, hangs a little down both sides, about that much on both sides, and then it goes all the way to the floor. I mean, my goal was to use up as much yarn as I could, and I used 3 kilograms of yarn. That is my only finished object for this week, and that's pretty much the only project that I was actually focusing on this week because, unfortunately, little bear pug, he is not feeling so good. He has not been feeling so good for the past 2 weeks, and this week I pretty much had to stay home and make sure that he was doing okay. He has an appointment with the doggy neurologist because we think that there's something going on with him neurologically. He keeps like doing that thing where he stumbles around and like walks in a circle, and he's just not doing so well. So one of the things that I was doing because I had to stay home, like I was bottle feeding him water and wet food mixture slurry, so that's kind of how we've been dealing with that. We've got a glucometer to check his blood sugar, so he's not getting too high, he's not getting too low. We're trying to really make sure that he's doing okay with that, and it's not a blood sugar related dizziness or anything like that. So he does have an appointment to go see the doggy neurologist, but one of the reasons why I really focused in on that big blanket project was just because, so the big blanket, which usually is my sitting in front of the TV project, became my sitting in front of the laptop for meetings, running queries, everything like that project. I feel like that really speaks to how much stress that I have been under with the little bear pug situation, where I cannot mentally handle cables or anything. That was not mindless stockinette. Well, I guess that's not entirely true because I did get a little bit done on my vintage sweater. I said that my only goal for knitting last week was doing the gauge swatch. This is a swatch for the V for Victory jumper. That is a free pattern on Ravelry. It was made freely available by, I think, the British Veterans Association, but I'm not entirely sure. It does have this nice little chevron-y shape that I really like. I'm pretty excited to get going on this. I feel like if I really hyper-focused on this could be a Thanksgiving sweater, but I don't think that I'm gonna hyper-focus on it. But that was the only knitting goal from last week. It's the only work in progress that I actually did work on. I still have the cable project from last week, no progress. I still have the Christmas quilt from last year, no progress. Oh wait, I did do a significant amount of progress on the llama quilt. Currently the quilt is at an aggressive 99.9% complete. There are a couple threads just around the perimeter that I need to clip, and then I just need to throw it in the wash and then it'll be done, but it is still not 100% done yet. It's just at that like 99.9%. So yeah, at this point, I am at a distinct lack of mindless stockinette projects, so I might cast on that color tip tee pretty soon. I might actually cast on that headband just because it would be a quick project probably, so maybe get a sense of accomplishment out of that. Let me know what you think that I should do to occupy a couple more needles. So last week I said that I had a reading goal to finish Man Fuck This House. I did not touch it at all. Instead, I had one of those instances where, you know, if it rains, it pours. I had a hold on House of Leaves at the library, and my hold became available. So of course, that meant 5 holds became available at once. So I have not cracked open House of Leaves yet because that is... I was not in a good headspace to do that because of the whole bear situation. Hopefully we will have a little bit of a better situation once he visits the neurologist. Maybe we can get him on, like, I don't know, doggy gabapentin or something like that to help him. But I did listen to a couple books. Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I fuck with Abby Jimenez's writing style. I fuck with her characters. In this, the main female character, she was a product of her trauma. And the reason why she was not communicating her home life situation with her love interest was because of how she was abused before. So I 100% get it. But it really set off a rocky foundation for them. And I think that maybe they rushed into getting married, but I don't necessarily think that they are guaranteed to be headed for divorce. But if you have read Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, let me know what you think about this down in the comments. I also listened to Twisted Games by Anna Wong. Might be a controversial take. I think that she's a good writer. I know that this book is arguably not a good book. It is very much that tropey, like, big burly manly man bodyguard. Is his entire personality is big burly manly man bodyguard. But I will say Anna Wong gets it. I don't like manly men. I barely like men. So this love interest is not a love interest for me. I fuck with the writing. And Part of Your World was one of the books that I did have on hold. I am currently about halfway through Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier, which was also one of the ones that I had on hold. I think that the maid thinks that she is the first wife and killed the first wife to overtake her life. Don't spoil it for me, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going on here. I also have This Is How You Lose the Time War, which is going to be 4 hours. I haven't started it yet. Moon-Blooded Breeding Clinic, which is 10 hours and sounds fucking hilarious. But also The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, which I added to my library because this would be the 3rd Brandon Sanderson book that I will listen to. And I did not fuck with the first 2 that much. I'm gonna say it, Mistborn was mid. It was giving very much first book, where you could see a lot of potential, but you could also see where it was not living up to that potential, including, but not limited to, the fact that it didn't pass the Bechdel test until, like, the last 10% of the book. I also listened to Tress of the Emerald Sea, which, it was cute, it was tropey. You could definitely see that it was based off of the Princess Bride vibes, and so I had those 2 Brandon Sanderson books under my belt, and I told my husband, I don't think that I fuck with Brandon Sanderson because I don't tend to like middle grade that much, and husband said, listen to Way of the Kings. He did not tell me that Way of the Kings is 45 fucking hours. That's a trilogy in one. It will be a full-time job trying to listen to this in a week. So for me, entertainment-wise, I'm gonna try at least to get through some of these audiobooks, probably the shorter ones first before I hard commit into Brandon Sanderson, but I cannot. Like, to me, that says there's got to be some sort of weird pacing issue. I also think that Mistborn could have been trimmed down. I think that they went on a couple little tangents that ultimately didn't fucking matter to the storyline that needed to go in the Mistborn direction. I think that this is going to have way too much fat. I think that this is going to feel like a bunch of side quests. I'm scared. If I shouldn't be scared, let me know down below, but don't spoil it. But if I should be scared, also warn me. So yeah, with the reading, that concludes this week's craft reading, etc. updates. Ultimately, we had a lot of stash in last week, but with that blanket, we got a lot of stash out this week. Let me know if I should cast on any new projects, how your stashy down projects and whatnot are going. Any questions, comments, or concerns down below. New videos should be up maybe Tuesdays, maybe Fridays. As always, like this video, subscribe, hit that little bell icon so you know when I actually do post. Thank you so much for watching. Stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll see you next time. Bye!